Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, sports fans. My name is George Sigel. Welcome to the fourth episode of the Thunderstruck Sports Show. So let's kick this episode off with this week's biggest controversy coming from America's biggest sport, and that is the NFL. Robert Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots, is facing 2 charges of soliciting prostitution in the county of Jupiter, Florida. Mr. Kraft and his team, his lawyer team, are vehemently denying this accusation, but they know Robert Kraft could face up to 60 days in jail. Also, the NFL has issued a statement that they are going to treat this issue just like any other misconduct violation that has taken place in the league. When the story first broke, there was also an international human trafficking ring that they were thinking that this may be involved with, and since rescinded those comments as far as Robert Kraft is concerned, but not the Asian Day Spa. For those of you that don't know what took place, this happened in Jupiter, Florida at the Orchids of Asia Day Spa, where police have said they have caught on tape Robert Kraft soliciting prostitution. You always want to try and find another way of saying it, but it's very tough, and very honestly, these are very tough topics to speak of on air. I know there were a lot of jokes out there amongst sports people that it could have looked very bad for Robert Kraft, and I thought in some situations it was going to look much worse for Mr. Kraft. So that will be very interesting to see how the NFL handles not only Robert Kraft, but knowing that he is the winningest football owner of all time, and with an organization where they go as a league and what charges, not only in court, but also within the league, Mr. Kraft might face. But we will follow this story as it continues. I know as of yesterday there wasn't even a warrant out for Mr. Kraft's arrest, so we will see how that goes, if he turns himself in, how his lawyer team will handle that. So back onto the field situation in the NFL. The NFL Combine is starting this week, and it is a big week for all college and incoming new NFL prospects. For those of you that don't know what the NFL Combine is, it is a test of feet, a test of strength, I would say, where different athletes from different positions, from different colleges, are graded, ranked in many different categories. It ranges from the punting and the kicking for the special teams guys to throwing and receiving for quarterbacks and wide receivers. Obviously, if you've never seen this, it's very interesting because everyone has to run the 40-yard dash, do the broad jumps, the high jumps, and bench presses. So realistically, they are all judged on those categories together. Obviously, they usually break them up by positions. This was the guy that did the highest running back, or the highest amount of push-ups for the running backs. This is the guy that did the highest amount of squats for linemen. You know, you keep it in terms of the muscles that these players will be using. It's also great to see because you see such wonderful athleticism from great athletes who really put the time into this situation because they know this could be a situation where it makes or breaks them. Also, this could take a guy like, and I know Eagles fans, you know what I'm talking about, like a Mike Mamula. Look it up. if you don't know what I'm talking about, who was a nobody or a very good college football player to a combine stud who ran a 4.58 at the combine, who literally vaulted right up the draft board. The Eagles, I believe, took him 9th, and that decision was largely regretted because then it just turned out that Mike Mamula was just a combine stud. No one wants a combine stud. They want a stud on the field every Sunday. So all these future NFL prospects will go through a different training process at the combine. Quarterbacks will throw. Some quarterbacks may opt not to throw. For instance, Dwayne Haskins, who is right now ranked as the #1 quarterback prospect out of Ohio State, probably, if you look at some pre-draft boards, it looks like he's slated to be drafted by the New York Giants 7th right now. But that might not happen. Who knows? We don't know what's going to happen until actual draft day. It's very dramatic, and it's wonderful to see for all of you that have never seen the NFL draft. I take it probably to another level. But all of these prospects also know that usually what they do is they go to the combine, and then each university has a pro day for all the prospects, NFL wannabes that weren't exactly invited to the combine. So they'll have the pro day for the second-rated receiver on their college team who's looking to get drafted in the 6th round or the 7th round. Trust me, it does happen, and those players can be very influential in the NFL moving forward. So we'll see how this all breaks out. If you want to catch any of this, it's on the NFL Network. It's great television. I know you're going to be like, flip it on, especially for you casual sports fans. You're going to be like, wait, they're just running or they're just catching balls. Yes, but it's wonderful to see all the talent that is on the field. I think it's great to see guys running a 40-yard dash and see if anyone can break the 4.2 mark that Herschel Walker set back in the 80s. But we will see. We will absolutely see how this works. What makes the whole dramatic scene for the NFL is like Arizona Cardinals sit on the clock right now with the #1 pick. Their coach, brand new coach, very young coach, Cliff Kingsbury, he has made the comment that he would love to coach a guy like Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, if you don't know, Heisman Trophy winner, is choosing football over baseball. We've talked about this in previous episodes. And it could be very interesting because Cliff Kingsbury has this first pick that he might decide, wait a second, the organization just drafted a quarterback last year with their first round pick, I believe number 8 overall, Sam Rosen out of UCLA. But he's not my guy. Will he go get his guy? Will he try to make Rosen his guy? I mean, Cliff Kingsbury, if you're watching, if you're peeking, go out and get your guy. Go out, and that way you can bring your aerial assault to Arizona, and you have no excuses 3 years from now when they fire you. Well, I never got my quarterback, or Josh Rosen just wasn't my guy. Stop it. Stop it. Just go get him. It's going to be very interesting. So we're waiting also to see if Kyler Murray throws at the combine. I haven't heard any word yet, but I will keep you updated. Also, what seems to be the video game organization, the Oakland Raiders, you got John Gruden as your coach. He literally just made the jump from TV analyst a couple years ago. And now Mike Mayock, new GM, who also just made the jump from TV broadcast booth into the general manager position with the Raiders. You have 3 picks, first round. You're on the clock, Raiders. Let's see what you got. Because in 2020, whatever product you put on the field, you have to take to Vegas and succeed or fail with that product. So we will see. Do they deal Derek Carr? Do they keep Derek Carr? Do they go quarterback? Who knows? This is the drama that rules my life, and I'm bringing it to you. Okay, moving on. Last week I finished the show with the Manny Machado signing a 10-year, $300 million deal with the Padres. Why the Padres? I am very curious about that situation. I understand they have the best farm system in Major League Baseball. But after putting some pen to paper and really looking at this, they haven't had a winning record in 6 years. And they haven't made the postseason since 2006. You've looked at some of their investments, some of the player deals that they've made over the last couple of years. It's not all that impressive. But Manny Machado, I give you all the credit in the world. You're going out there. Do I really feel like you were ready for the bright lights and big city of New York or the Dodgers or anything like that? No. Did you maybe possibly take the easy way out? Because if you fail out there, yeah, it's a different microscope. You know, it's always sunny in San Diego. It's beautiful. You're going to love it. The weather's great. Well, we shall see, and only time will tell. And since signing that deal, it has come out that Manny Machado has also turned down the deal from the White Sox that could have paid him $350 million, but his last 2 seasons were incentive-based. So did you take the easy way out? I'm looking at you, Manny Machado. We'll see. We will see. Also, other offseason signings that happened in the past week. Nolan Arenado signed to an 8-year, $260 million deal, which makes Nolan Arenado the highest paid position player in Major League Baseball history. Not highest paid player, that belongs to the pitcher, Zach Greinke. So knowing all of this, I know what you're thinking because it's twisting my stomach up inside and out, and that is Bryce Harper. What are you going to do? Quit tormenting fans. Oh, but there's a market for Bryce Harper if he wants to sign a shorter deal. Or we were thinking the Dodgers only offered him 6 years. Now the Phillies offer is still on the table for 10 years with a player option after 3 years because there's going to be a new collaborative agreement with MLB. I get it. Scott Boras, you are a very smart man. You are a very wealthy man. And you wouldn't be this wealthy if you weren't always trying to get the best deal for your clients. Do I think that there is I just don't think there's any more market out there for this type of situation. Do you want the 10 years? Do you want the 7? Do you want a 5? Do you want a player option after 3? Listen, whoever's going to get them, Phillies, or Phillies, are you really making the best offer you can make? You want to say you want to go out there and spend stupid money or spend stupidly? Not really. And if the Phillies don't bring him to Philadelphia, do we blame management? Do we blame the general manager, Matt Clintock and John Middleton? And John Middleton, why would you even say those words? That's ridiculous if you're not going to go out there and get this big free agent that is out there to sign. But in the end, it is Bryce Harper's decision. We are all sitting on the edge of our seats. Literally, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat. I don't know. Spring training started. Let's go. Get into camp. Let's see what you got. The one thing that I will say, if at any press conference that Bryce Harper holds after this whole situation, if he goes, well, this is where I wanted to be the whole time, I literally might rip my television off my wall and slam it down like a football or a medicine ball, for that matter, and just slam it. I mean, come on. This is where you really wanted to be. You would have been here 3 weeks ago. It's the same offer that all these teams are still offering you, but we will see. Couple quick other notes. In the NBA, I got a little bit of Philly twist in me. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Joel Embiid, off the All-Star breaks, decides he's going to sit at least a week because he had an injury or hurt himself. How? It's the All-Star break. You played half of one game. I think it's more rest reasons. Sixers will never tell us the truth anyway. But please, Joel Embiid, get healthy. We need you. LeBron James, I really am interested to see the drama that is the rest of the NBA season with the Los Angeles Lakers. I recently heard, maybe he should sit out the rest of the season. They're the best basketball player in the world. You can't get them schlubs. I've seen you take far less talented teams in Cleveland to the playoffs. Do you want to go to the playoffs? I don't know what's going on out there in LA. I know they have issues. I know that team needs to improve if they want to make the playoffs and want to make a run. They've lost some pretty gruesome games lately. It's pathetic. You're really not used to LeBron James being associated with this situation. Kyrie Irving and the Boston Celtics. I feel like every time Kyrie Irving takes the court for that organization, it's just getting more dramatic and more dramatic. Guys saying we can't play together. No one's having any fun. Guys just don't seem to know even what the pulse of that organization or that team is when Kyrie Irving's on the court. When he's not on the court, don't tell anybody this, but I do not want to see that team in the playoffs if Kyrie Irving is not on the court. It's just a different situation. But that being said, we will see how it goes moving forward for the Celtics. James Harden, streak of 30-point games is snapped. So what does that mean? What does that mean to you as a fan? What does that mean to the NBA? For the NBA, I think the NBA will continue to move on. No one will even realize 3 years from now if no one's even near that streak again, or no one's going to even realize it. I think James Harden did what he had to do in order for the Houston Rockets to win. That being said, his effort on the court was dynamic. The problem is James Harden only knows really how to score, because it wasn't like his defensive effort was out there. He wasn't getting 4 or 6 steals a game. It was 30-plus points a night because he was missing Chris Paul or because there was another injury to Cliff Capella, and he had to put it all out there offensively. His step-back three, no one will ever question his offensive game. I am going to be very interested going into the playoffs when that team has got some issues or just is healthy. What James Harden, Chris Paul, Cliff Capella, Kenneth Faried, they just got Eric Gordon, what that team can do, because it's going to be very interesting to see. So, real quick, couple last minute notes. NCAA basketball. I know I talked about it way too much, but if you didn't catch it last week, this time, Zion Williamson blew out a shoe within the first 16 seconds of the North Carolina game. Literally, check the highlight, blew right through his Nike. It was incredible. Duke went on to lose that game by 17 points. Followed that game with a win at Syracuse. For those people that don't know, Syracuse plays in the Carrier Dome. Incredible atmosphere for a basketball game, especially if you're the road team, because it can get wild. So they also just recently followed that up with a loss on the road at Virginia Tech. So you're going from home in North Carolina, on the road to Syracuse, on the road to Virginia Tech. That is a very tough stretch. Zion Williamson not playing all 3 of those games. Duke ended up at 1-2. So moving forward, the question is, does that hurt Duke's seeding for the tournament? We will see how that works and how they can recover from these couple losses. If you're Mike Krzyzewski and you're Duke, better yet, if you're Zion Williamson and you are basically the guaranteed number 1 pick, do you continue to play college basketball, or do you say, you know what, Coach K, thanks, but I'm going to shut it down this year because I want to be the number 1 pick? For those people that don't know who Zion Williamson is, Google it. You'll see a barrage of dunks that you didn't even know could happen. The kid can play. He's 18. I am all for this kid playing. I think it's great for NCAA basketball. I think it's great for the sport of basketball because he is a highlight reel ready to happen. And I don't even like Duke. Trust me. Um, they asked Paul George because the model shoe that Zion Williamson was wearing that night was the Paul George shoe. And he said he has never seen that. It has never happened. It never happened in training. It never happened in testing. So it's going to be very interesting. Granted, Nike said that a man of his size, let's be honest, 6'8", 6'9", 280 pounds with explosive ability, probably needs to have his own shoe made for him. But you can't do that to a college kid because you can't pay college kids, remember? So they're just going to have to wait and then offer him the shoe deal. By then, will it be too late? We shall see. Who knows who might offer him a shoe deal. Then they also went on to say that, well, the players that wear our shoes change their shoes every night for their games. What about the 16-year-old kid that buys one pair of shoes, that can afford one pair of shoes for the entire season? I was there. I did it. I know what you're saying. But you're saying the kid doesn't need another pair of shoes? Trust me, my mom said I didn't need another pair of shoes. I know all about it. I needed one. I get it. The real loser in this whole situation had to be Nike. Because it turned out the day after Zion Williamson blew through his shoe, Nike lost $3 billion on the New York Stock Exchange. Think about that. That is, they took quite a hit when Zion Williamson busted through that shoe. But don't worry, they'll recover. They'll probably sign him for millions and sell a shoe for billions. So no matter what, the big conglomerate will come out on top. Also in the week that was, to wrap up in college basketball, congrats to Gonzaga after a loss of Tennessee at LSU this weekend. Gonzaga is back in number 1 in the world of college hoops, so all is right out west. We shall see how long they hold on to it because they cannot afford another loss and keep their rating. We'll also see what happens with the number 2 seeds moving forward. Remember, less than a month away from Selection Sunday, which is literally one of my favorite days in the world. And last but not least, good luck and happy trails to Georges St. Pierre, who retired from his wonderful and illustrious UFC career. He is one of the most explosive fighters I have ever seen. Yet again, something else to Google. The guy is incredible. He was a wonderful mixed martial artist and will definitely be missed in the world now. We say that and then you go, oh wait, a year from now, guess who's fighting? I think this guy has a wonderful career outside of the ring, and I hope that he's able to find his calling, whatever that may be. And if it's nothing, it's nothing. Enjoy your millions. You got your head pounded in for how many years? So, happy trails. And always, like I tell everyone, and I tell you each and every week, I promise to do better next week as I did this week. And I will always do better the following week and the following week. I'm only going to get better. So please, continue to follow me. Continue to catch my show. Make sure, if you are very interested, to somewhere down here on the bottom, I'm not even sure if I'm pointing in the right spot, subscribe to the show, because then when I post a show, you will be automatically made aware that it's on your YouTube. Make sure you give me a like, give me a thumbs up, tap that thumbs up button. And I've started tweaking with a few other social media accounts. So I will have details for you coming soon. Share this show with your friends, with your family. I am not shy. I want to be in everybody's living room, in your car, wherever you may be catching my show. I appreciate you. Have a great day. And remember, row the boat.